All right, in this section of the PowerPoint, we're really going to get into these two empires, the Mauryan and the Gupta. So Mauryan comes first in India, and the Gupta is second. And remember, they kind of dovetail the classical era. So again, you see the the large kind of bluish purple um, empire. This is Asoka's empire. Ashoka, two ways to say it, two ways to spell it. Sometimes spelled with an H right here, okay? So this is him, and he is probably the greatest Mauryan king. He's the grandson of the founder, Chandragupta Maurya, okay? It's going to be very confusing because there is a founder of the Gupta Empire named Chandragupta, but the founder of the Mauryan Empire is Chandragupta Maurya. Their big cities lie mainly along the Ganges River, and the capital is the one that you need to know is Pataliputra. So Chandragupta Maurya founds the dynasty in 321 BCE. He is a smart dude, but incredibly paranoid. He rules out of this book written by his advisors called the Artha Shastra. This called for extreme centralization, a lot of power under the emperor. And this centralization was key to the administration of the Mauryans. And like I said, he was pretty paranoid, so he had a lot of spies, just like the Persians, and he also slept in a different room every single night in his palace and had food tasters to make sure that um, he wasn't going to be poisoned. So he's a little paranoid. His grandson is Ashoka Maurya. Here I spelled it with an H just so you could get used to it. And he completed the unification of the Mauryans. He did this through his conquest of the Kalingans. And the Kalingans were an incredibly fierce group from the center of India. And he had this really fierce battle with them. It is said that 10,000 people died. It was an incredibly bloody conquest. Um, and after that conquest and all of the death that he witnessed, he had this change of heart, let's call it, and he converted to Buddhism and decided to become a Buddhist and be nonviolent and all of that jazz. Um, this was incredibly important for India and for Buddhism. He was a he had tons of public works projects. He built roads, just like he was it was middle America, right? He was building things just like the interstate highway system across India. He promoted agriculture. He set up a system of collecting taxes so that he could continue to fund his empire, and his bureaucracy was centered in Pataliputra. He also built many law codes, and this is one of the things he's most famous for. So he was an incredibly fierce conqueror and also a very important emperor because of his influence with India's law code. Um, After Ashoka, the empire really declined. They didn't have any strong leaders, but also they weren't expanding, and a lot of their money came from expansion. So they had this incredibly elaborate bureaucracy with, the Persian-inspired satrapies and lots of different officials and tax collectors and bureaucrats, etc. But they didn't really have any way to fund that. So they decided to create a whole bunch of money, which of course caused a lot of inflation and made their money basically worthless. So here we can see the law code of Ashoka. This is the writing on the law code. There are these, they call them Ashoka's edicts, and they're scattered in more than 30 places around the South Asian subcontinent and up into Central Asia. So you can see just how far his empire extended. They are written in early Sanskrit, although some of them are written in other languages. One has Greek and Aramaic. This was in the region of Bactria, which we're going to look at in a moment. These He built many of these on pillars or stupas, and they're 40 to 50 feet high. I mean, these things are huge, and they're really dominated by Buddhism, nonviolent principles, and the search for equality. There's some on animal rights. He writes the first animal rights laws in the history of the world. They were very, very, very progressive, but also incredibly strict. So this is one example of it. And the lion was a symbol of Ashoka. All right, we're going to stop there for now, and we'll get into the Second Kingdom in the next video, and also the regional kingdoms of Bactria and Kush.